All right, welcome to Wellness Wednesday and November. I still cannot believe this year has flown by as quickly as it has. I was talking to my daughter earlier this week and she goes, "Mom, Halloween's tomorrow, right?" And I was like, yeah, it is. Oh my gosh, Halloween's tomorrow. We have nothing ready at home to give out to trick-or-treaters, so we had to get on top of that and get that all done yesterday to make sure we had all that ready to go for the trick-or-treaters that are stopping by our house. But I wanted to do something a little bit different this month. So as we know, November is a time when the weather changes and the leaves fall, and we kind of go into a period of hibernation on the earth, and we see where kind of everything is going to sleep. But we also have Thanksgiving in November, and one of the great things about Thanksgiving is we are really meant to look at what we have to give thanks for, the things in our lives that surround us, that help us to really be grateful for what we have. And sometimes I know a lot of times we want bigger and better things, and we have dreams, and we have motivations and things we want to achieve and places we want to go and things we want to do with our lives. But sometimes we have to take a step back and look at what we currently have and be grateful for it. One of the things that I have been doing recently is looking into gratitude and looking into how being grateful and being thankful for the things that we have actually can help with mental health. As you may or may not know, a lot of people tend to have issues with depression and anxiety, typically more during the fall and winter months. A lot of times as we get some of that darkness, we can sometimes have, because we're not getting as much light exposure, we're not getting outside as much, some people tend to have more depression set in or seasonal affective disorder where they're noticing that they are more withdrawn. So one of the things that I've been doing, like I said, is looking into some gratitude and thankfulness research. And there was basically 5 things that have been found to improve when we are looking at and focusing on gratitude. But when we're giving thanks, when we're having gratitude, that not only makes us happier, but it helps us to acknowledge good in our life and helps us to be a part of something that is bigger than ourselves. So whatever you believe in, because I know everybody has different beliefs, sometimes being a part of something bigger than ourselves, so helping our neighbors, helping our community, helping our church, helping our families, helping the people that live in the world, or even benefiting people that live on the other side of the world, all of those things help us when we're doing good for other people to not only kind of be grateful for what we have, but also being able to give back. So some research that was done at Harvard actually found that when we are focusing on thankfulness and gratitude, it helps us to feel more positive emotions. So that actually helps our brain to focus on the positive rather than the negative. So that can help with our mental health overall and having more positive outlook on life. It also focused on helping us relish and reliving those good experiences, which again help us to focus our brains on those positive and good experiences. And really focusing on the good helps us again drive out some of the bad, drive out some of the negativity. It also helped us improve our health, and I want to take that a little bit further, but let's get through this list. The other thing that we also find was that when we are focusing on gratitude and thankfulness, we are better at dealing with adversity. So we're better at dealing with hard times, we're better at dealing with stress, because we know that even if we have stressful times, even if we have a bad day, there's still positive things in our life and still things that we can look forward to. And the 5th thing, which I thought was really interesting, was that we can actually build stronger relationships, because not only are we going to be more positive towards other people, we are going to be comfortable to actually talk about some of our concerns and the things that bother us. So a lot of times when, especially if you've had any type of trauma or coping mechanisms where you tend to bottle everything up and disconnect from people when you are feeling out of sorts, or maybe somebody's overstepped your bounds, a lot of times you step away and kind of go off by yourself rather than connecting with people. When we are making an effort to be grateful and involving those people, sometimes being able to actually make that connection and talking about what is going on in our heads, what's going on with our attitude, what's going on that is maybe not 100% great, and that we don't always feel great about some things or feel like somebody's overstepped bounds, we may want to, rather than make waves, we may want to bottle that up instead of expressing it. And when we are having stronger relationships where you're open to talking about what's bothering you and open to talk about things that maybe don't seem fair or things that are happening in your life and sharing that experience. That gratitude helps you to have that positive experience and positive connection so that you feel ready and open to share those things in your life rather than bottling it up and rather than kind of separating yourself from the people around you and the people that you can really rely on. So what I wanted to do is kind of talk about some ways that we can kind of show gratitude and show thankfulness, or things that can help us to focus more on the positive. So I have, we talked about the 5 benefits of gratitude. I want to talk about 5 things you can do to be grateful and also kind of connect and with that positive thinking. So the first one is spending time with your loved ones. So simply just spending time with your kids, your significant other, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your family members, your friends, whether it is just coloring with your kids, with a coloring book, or practicing reading or practicing math. I know we had these math blocks at home, and I bought some little worksheets. So we got worksheets out. We worked on basically building colored blocks together, all of us. So Cameron's 13 and Tori is 5. It really didn't matter. It was just kind of fun building stuff together, playing with colors, playing with shapes. Just spending that time together and focused on each other and interacting was kind of a great way to just connect in a positive way without screen time or any of that stuff. Another thing you can do, number 2, so this is another way that you can kind of give thanks for your good health and connect with the people around you and help that positive experience, is getting outside to enjoy the weather. Now I know the weather did change this week, and we had some not so nice forecasts yesterday. But I will say that just getting outside, whether you are looking out the window from the comfort of your home by a warm fire or wrapped up in a blanket, or whether you are taking your dog for a walk or going for a hike and maybe even doing a scavenger hunt for things along the trail, just getting outside or enjoying the outdoors from the comfort of your home, if that is your choice. I know I personally love fire, so whether I'm sitting outside at a campfire or have one inside the house, I just love fire in general, and being able to look outside at the color changes in the trees and enjoying that fire and that warmth is kind of a great thing for me. Another thing you can do is random acts of kindness. So I know a lot of people talk about paying it forward, whether that is, taking care of an order at, say, Dunkin' Donuts behind you or something like that, whatever it may be, ways that you can pay it forward or show acts of kindness. So whether that is letting the person behind you in line go ahead of you, complimenting somebody's outfit or hair or whatever it is, all those things are great ways that we can interact with other people and being kind. So saying nice things, complimenting their appearance, opening door for somebody, letting them get in front of us, maybe telling a mom who's standing in line with her kid or at the restaurant with their kid that is, you're doing it okay. Like, you're going to pull through this. It's hard sometimes to be a mom, but just having somebody say, you're doing a great job is a great thing to do. So when you see families out and about, when you see moms that are stressed, frustrated, overworked, make sure you take the time to tell them they're doing a great job, or, say something about their kids, how well behaved they are, whatever it may be that you can do to help someone around you have a little pick-me-up or have a compliment for today. Another thing you can do is host a dinner, whether that is specifically for holidays, whether that is for your family or friends or just acquaintances. Just getting together with people and sharing and connecting is another great way that we can kind of focus on gratitude and the positive things in our life. And another thing, which this is actually going to be our challenge this month, I'm really excited about this. So gratitude journaling is absolutely amazing. So when it comes to gratitude journaling, I had a patient that we talked about journaling in general just to kind of help the craziness that's going on in our head sometimes. And she said, sometimes at the end of the day, I just need to do what she called it was a brain dump, which I love that word, because sometimes at the end of the day, you have a million things running around your head. What do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to not forget? All the things I have to do, all the things on my list. And sometimes it gets pretty stressful. So what's really great about gratitude journaling is you can simply write down just like maybe a list, like 2 or 3 things, maybe even one thing that was positive for you that day, something that you want to be grateful, want to remember, want to look back at later on to help you see the positive side of things. And for those of you that want to take it a step deeper, when it comes to gratitude journaling, sometimes actually taking the time to, and you don't have to do it necessarily daily or weekly or anything like that, but actually taking the time to just sit down and write some things to help kind of focus and kind of focus on the positive and kind of show some appreciation for that is we may want to look at doing a journal entry specifically for past, present, and future. So I know it's not Christmas time. We're not talking about the ghosts of Christmas, past, present, and future, but I want you to sit down and write about some positive memories and some things that you were thankful for during your childhood, whether they were blessings, whether they were people, whether they were experiences, people that had a positive impact, or things or places or things that you remember in those memories that you have a positive association with, kind of remembering and reflecting back on some of those positive memories that shaped us into who we are today. So some of us may have not always most like 100% positive all the time, but we do have those happy memories and things that stand out in our mind that maybe bring us joy even today. So I want you to write those down. When it comes to your present, I want you to kind of focus on the things that maybe we don't take time to be grateful for, but the things that we take for granted, the things that we have good fortune, having a home, having food on our table, having family surrounding us, those types of things, being able to just get out and do stuff, or, being able to walk, just simply not having to be in a wheelchair or with a walker or cane, or for those of you that are able to spend time with family and they're not too far away, just being able to visit, kind of reflecting the things again that we take for granted, the things that we don't necessarily think about as good fortune, but there are definitely other people that maybe struggle with that or don't have some of the blessings that we do. So kind of writing those down helps you kind of focus on what's going on right now that maybe I don't think about on a daily basis that I could be grateful for. And the last thing is for that journal entry is also thinking about our future. So maybe maintaining a hopefulness or an optimistic attitude about things that we want to do in our future, maybe some of those goals or dreams that I talked about earlier, just writing them down. So things that maybe you want to look forward to or build some of that positive energy up for later on in your life. I just want you to think about that. So this month, I want you to focus, and I want to challenge you to focus on being positive, focus on the things in our life that we should be grateful for. And to take it a step further, not just going out there and doing things, so spending time with loved ones, hosting a dinner party, getting outside or enjoying nature, doing random acts of kindness, or even just doing a gratitude journal, but writing down our past, our present, our future, things that we have to be grateful for, things we have to look forward to, and even just being able to, I think, focus on that positive is going to help us to change our mindset as we get into the darker months. And if you are still experiencing a lot of issues with depression, sometimes I see a lot of digestive issues that can be a part of that. If your body is not digesting things properly, a lot of times you're going to have nutritional deficiencies that can lead to anxiety and depression. Some other times I do find vitamin D deficiency can also be a big factor too. So I would highly recommend as much as possible that if you haven't already, before we get into fall and winter, get your blood level tested for vitamin D. And if you tend to have hormone balance issues, I usually recommend getting a CBC or a CMP done as well, because if we have vitamin D deficiencies, that can cause some of that seasonal affective disorder, depression, we can have immune system issues. A CBC tells us a little bit more about what's going on with our blood and our iron and our hemoglobin content and our platelet level, so we know that our body is in tip-top shape and we don't have any issues going on with anemia that can fatigue us and cause us to be tired and miserable throughout the winter and the fall months. And then a CMP tells us a little bit more about what's going on with our organ system. So if we have a liver that is struggling to manage cholesterol levels or blood sugar levels or detoxifying our body and helping us bounce back after injury, a lot of times we can notice that when we are sick, it takes us a lot longer to bounce back. And that could be because your liver is maybe not working 100%. If we have kidney function issues, that'll show up on that test too. So that'll tell us perhaps if we are not getting enough water or electrolytes in our body. It can also tell us if the kidney maybe has some damage or is struggling to eliminate waste. And that can help us point us in the right direction as to what we need to do with our water intake, with our electrolyte intake, with our food intake, and potentially if we need to support organ systems so they can heal and bounce back. So hopefully you learned something today. We are going to pop in again next week, and we're going to focus in and kind of talk a little bit more about gratitude journaling. And potentially I may have another challenge or another activity for you to do. So keep it real, and hopefully you are embracing your freedom and embracing your ability to live your life and embrace the gratitude and the things that we should be thankful for that we might be taking for granted. So have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week.